and I have got raw sienna and the permanent brown mixed to make just kind of a reddish mixture. And I recommend most of the time still building this up kind of with pale washes. So we're going to do strokes going in the direction of the hair, but you're not really trying to paint individual hairs. You're just trying to get that stroke direction. And then you're going to break it up. So I'm going to add water at the ends here and some here. Remember that your paper towel is a tool. Okay, it's important. So I don't have to break up every bit of it, but I want a lot of it broken up. And then I'm squeezing this out because I can suck up a little of that too to make that become a lost edge in places. So that becomes a really interesting, and this time I added enough water that I'm getting a little run back into the center. See, this makes interest. This is nice. I like that. All right. So if I'm doing that on the squirrel, let's do that on this one because it'll show up better. So, oh, gosh, I need a picture of the squirrel. He looks really kind of blank-faced because I haven't filled in anything here. So he really, and he doesn't have the darks in his eyes. He looks blind. Those are cataracts. You can tell those are cataracts. Okay, so I've got a little bit of gray mixture here. It just depends how strong I want it to get, but I would rather build up a couple of layers of this just because of the richness of the strokes will begin to feel more like hair. Oh, gosh, that's way too dark. Okay, let's just move it around a little bit then. Here we go. What is that spot? Oh, darn. How did I get that there? Okay.
So you just go right over the
So
nose.
things happen, yeah, because
Okay.
I'm merging. That's see the thing about the nose is that is just real fine short hairs there. That's not a. I had somebody actually try to make a dog's nose there.
Right.
It's not. So and you know if you haven't spent a lot of time with squirrels, you might not know that.
No, well, yeah, they're all around me, but I don't really.
Up close and it's hard to be up close and personal.
Yeah.
They're just. So remember that this area right here in front of the eyes is going to need to not have a light thing that encircles it. So I'm going to soften these edges. And you can see I'm turning my brush sideways and laying it down. Look at that. So what I want is, and I didn't do much of it here, but those little gaps between, you know, where I have a few little white gaps left in there, light colored gaps, and you can see some up in here. That really indicates the hair. You know, it's not the dark stroke, it's the light that's left.
Okay.
The twinkles.
Yes, and it just makes a nice, it's a good watercolor look. So I actually do not have enough shaping in there. So I've got that wet spot. I can just drop in a little color right in there. And this one, I have got the dark area around there. So let's just go ahead and let's put in his eye, because here's the thing, when you're working on him and he's just got that blank stare, it's just psychologically hard on you. So,
It's creepy.
Yeah, I was going to say it creeps you out. Yeah.
and what I really like is where this stuff is dried in this plate, I have got great areas to just pick up paint, particularly if I want to do something small and delicate.
What size is that brush?
Okay, we'll talk about this brush
Okay,
in just a
okay.
minute. Okay. So I'm looking at the eye. Actually, I think there's a reflection of a tree in his eye, but, you know, let's not overdo it. Okay, it's not, this paint is not coming off my brush the way I want. It's not flowing off the brush. My mixture is just a little too, well, maybe it's not that it's too strong. I didn't wet the whole brush down. Let me load that brush up. This is the only synthetic brush I ever use. This little thing is pretty darn nice. So that eyeball comes out here. In fact, kind
Almost
of,
looks like a cross.
it does. In fact, or a spider crawling on his eye. So I had a little bit of problem with that. Sometimes you have to rearrange things. And right there, I've got a highlight, and it's kind of a funny shape. I don't like it. So what I'm going to do, and this synthetic brush does not pull paint up very well, but let's try. Okay. This small stuff is really hard for y'all to see. There, okay. I've got a little bit lighter area in there. I'm not happy with that. I'm probably going to have to go back and do more to it. So we're going to put some more gray in around the eye. His eyes are almost framed with it's almost like the squirrel is wearing makeup.
Mm-hmm.
So let's pull that down a little bit. Oops. You notice I'm constantly using that paper towel. I love that phone.
Sorry.
I want that on my phone. I think it makes me happy every time I hear him.
I have people at work looking for it and they can't find it. Yeah, but now
I never heard that.
yeah. My kids found that for me.
So I still got that area around his eye a little bit small.
Yeah.
And the idea it's better, but yeah,
Really
he's beginning to
pops
have
out now,
he's
though.
beginning to have a
Yeah.
soft, juicy eye though. Maybe just a little bit of. So I'm spending a lot of time on the eyes because, windows to the soul and all that stuff. I'm gonna try and pull a little of this back out,
Mm-hmm.
and
like that.
and let it dry, and I'll come back and fix that because I want that area bigger.
So what area?
I got the area above the eye a little too small.
Okay.
That little frame, that
Okay.
little thing that looks like
That
makeup.
little thing right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like makeup. And yeah, squirrels know how to be pretty. Huh? So
This is a
mostly,
girl squirrel.
well, I would say that if it wasn't for the tooth, wasn't it this class that was saying about the orthodontist?
Oh,
The girls
no.
get the orthodontist.
Oh, no.
I think this may be an older squirrel. Maybe that's why the bag's under his eyes. I don't know. Anyway, the thing is, I would suggest, even though this area, you can tell this is salt and pepper right here, but I'm not trying to do salt and pepper. I don't even want to do salt and pepper. But here's what you could do. You could work some areas approximately the colors that you want. Okay, and remember, I don't go very far before I stop and break these up. So it has that nice little watercolor edge to it and stuff. So when that's dry, I'd come back with a layer of gray. So I'm basically alternating between this reddish gold mixture that we made and the raw sienna. I mean, and the gray mixture. All right, and we're just building this up. I would say that one area to watch out for. I didn't mean to have that brush out. One area to watch out for is right in under here. This spot right here is actually the counter to the part of this leg over here. It's actually like his knee. But it's this area right here is right over here. It's not his tummy. So the thing is that if you don't get that division there, it will look like this is a huge, monstrous fat squirrel. So here I have a layer of the
Red
raw
one.
sienna, but I don't have it really as dark as it's going to need to be. But I'm going to put in a layer of gray to begin to shadow it. This area gets confusing because of the difference between local color, that would be the color this hair naturally is, and shadow color. And I can't, it looks to me like that's a combination of there, but I can't really tell, and without going and seeing if a squirrel will let me look at his underside, I don't know. So
Asking permission,
yeah, yes, asking permission and
praying not to get bit.
but praying not to be bitten. Yes. So let's just pre-wet this area. And here's the thing, this is an area where you might liberally pre-wet it, and then talk for several seconds or whatever you want to kill time with. You know how we do that,
We don't
right?
do that.
And then you're going to squeeze your brush out. This is what a synthetic brush does not do very well, among other things. And we're going to pull up the excess on the surface. So now I've got a surface that will let me have a very gentle, soft edges, but they won't like shoot out and run everywhere. So I'm going to pull some color in here. Looks pretty dark, but remember this is going to dry lighter. Right in here is a little bit more, and then it kind of comes up this way. I think I made his front leg a little too skinny there. Oh dear. So I'm not making that division yet. Okay, that will have to happen later. So again, I'm washing my brush out and squeezing it out so that I can, if I think I need to, I can feather this if the edges look creepy. They really don't, Sometimes the edges get creepy. It looks like there's moss growing there. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit extra water here. And then I'm going to pull up because I want to make that leg a little fatter.
Okay.
And then I might take a little more color and put in right there. Tiny bits. But you can see how you can manipulate this back and forth even even though you just lifted there, because it's just a squeeze lift. So right here, I have an area where I want the leg to stand out in front of the back leg, so I think I will pre-wet. Oh, which way do I want to do this?
Is that like a piece there and then a piece there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, this is, actually, this line that I drew there was really a division between, quite frankly, the drawing doesn't look like the photo. I don't know what it did. But it's supposed to be a division between the gray and the other, and I don't know
okay.
why I did it. It
Okay.
was dumb. All right, never mind. I'm not going to pre-wet that. I'm going to just pick up my my mixture, and so if I do like little edges like this, that will kind of break up the leg of the front leg and make it a little more like it's got a fuzzy edge. And I need to bring this on up into the already existing gray. You don't want to just make spots of one color or another. You want them to merge and blend and overlap. All right, so I've got enough color down there. So what I want to do, again, the same thing I've been doing. I'm going to pull this out. So I'm laying the brush the direction that the hair is growing and touching into the tip there. And I'm leaving some gaps. But again, you can be very random about this. The worst thing in the world would be if it was like fence posts, like little, regular lines. You don't want that. You just want like little groupings and things. And a lot of the time that'll just happen naturally if you just relax. So there. And this area sort of got a lot of warm tone and gray. So I'll just mix that. And what I would do again is I would probably let that dry, and then I would add the gray on top. I think I'm going to merge a little more color into this area, because the thing you're guarding against is getting it to look like you've got spots, or starts to look like a calico cat or quilt instead of a squirrel. Who's more of a unified range. He's got these color changes, but they're gentle changes, except maybe around the eye. So maybe something a little like that, and then when that's dry, I'll come back and I'll apply my grays in the same way, but in slightly different places. Okay, so, and then you want to, Jane, because you don't have this area in,
Right, do
you
that
want to get this
later.
area in before you pull up your
Right.
snow.
So I can do that. If I don't get today, I can do that at home. You mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because this is the last squirrel day.
Yeah.
So, if
Hi. We can edit that
Surprise.
part out.
I'll leave it in.
so,
Right.
well, I'll know if anybody's watching, but it needs to have. See, that's still too light and bright compared to here. So, I'm going to add a little bit because we've got reflected light on him, and so. If you want this to not jump out at you, to look more natural. And it depends, whether you don't have to do a natural squirrel. You could do a something fun. But okay, that's going to make it merge in under him, and the shadow feel more convincing. So you could use gray or blue gray or whatever you want. A lot of this is actually in shadow, but I kind of like the pop of some white. So, you could kind of decide. But the snow here is going to have some shadow to its underneath, too. So you may want a little bit of areas like that. And you can see little shapes in the snow here. I wouldn't get it. See how that looks spotty. That looks spotty and speckled. Well, that's not what you want, but that's your start. And now you're going to just soften maybe all the edges or pull parts of it up. You could always blot if you thought it was way too dark. Let's see. I think that was already in there. I'm not sure. All right. So you make a little bit of shape in the snow. And then, of course, right where it's against the bark, you definitely want a little bit of shadow, because otherwise this becomes the total center of attention, and it looks unnatural. So see, you're just naturalizing your snow.
Right.
That's not all the way done, but you get the idea. So before anyone drops anything on me again, that's the end.